group will be explained about Victorian Era. Let's start. Victorian literature is literature mainly written in English during the reign of Queen Victoria in the 1837 to 1901. It was preceded by Romanticism and followed by the Edwardian Era in 1901 to 1910. While the preceding Romantic period, poetry had been the conquerors, novels were the emperors of the Victorian period. Charles Dickens in 1812 to 1870 dominate the first part of Victorian reign and most likely can be called the king of Victorian literature. His first novels, The Pickwick Papers, was published in 1836 and his last Our Mutual Friend between 1864 to 5. William Thackeray in 1811 to 1863, most famous work Vanity Fair appeared in 1848. And the Three Brothers Sisters, Charlotte in 1816 to 55, Emily in 1818 to 48, and Anna in 1820 to 49, also published significant work in the 1840s. A major later novels was George Eliot in 1819 to 80, Middlemarch in 1872, while the major novels of the later parts of Queen Victoria's reign was Thomas Hardy in 1840 to 1928, whose first novels Under the Greenwood Tree appeared in 1872, and his last, Jude the Obscure, in 1895. Robert Browning in 1812 to 89, and Alfred Tennyson in 1809 to 92 were Victorian England's most famous poets. To more recent days, has tended to prefer the word poetry throughout his life. Did not publish a collection until 1898, as well as then a great Melanie Hopkins in 1844 to 89, whose poetry was published posthumously in 1980. Algernon Charles Swinburne in 1837 to 1809 is also considered an important literary figure of the period, especially his poems and critical writings. An early poetry of W.B. Yeats was also published in Victorian reign. With regard to the theatre, it was not until the last decades of 19th century that any significant works were produced. This begins with the Gilbert and Sullivan's comic operas from the 1870s, first plays of George Bernard Shaw in 1856 to 1950 in the 1890s, and Oscar Wilde's in the 1854 to 1900, The Importance of Being Earnest. So everyone, only this from me. Thank you for watching my video. Bye!
Hello friends, I'm Welly Wandini. Here I will explain briefly about the life of Queen Victoria. Victoria was born with the name Alexandrina Victoria on May 24, 1819 at Kensington Palace, London. Victoria is the daughter of Prince Edward, Duke of Kensington. Alexandrina is Victoria's baptismal name. Victoria is the fifth heir to the throne. When Victoria was 1 year old, Victoria's father, Prince Edward, died of illness. Victoria's nickname as a child was Trina. Victoria's mother is very protective. Her childhood, Victoria was cared for in the palace and not allowed to play with peers outside the kingdom. So, Victoria undergoing her education in the palace. Little Victoria is a melancholy child. She has a favorite dog named Gus and has a collection of dogs that are museums until now. June 20, 1837, at 6 a.m., Victoria was visited by William I, Viscount Melbourne, and told that Victoria was Queen of England. June 28, 1838, Victoria was crowned Queen. February 1840, Queen Victoria married Prince Albert in the chapel of the Royal Palace of Saint James. Queen Victoria has 9 children, and her nickname, the grandmother of the kings of Europe, because some of Victoria's children and grandchildren married the royal family, occupied the throne of European kingdom. Queen Victoria is suffering hemophilia. December 14, 1861, Prince Albert died at 11 p.m., which made Queen Victoria very sad. So loyal and loved, Queen Victoria asked to build several monuments and statues of Prince Albert scattered throughout Europe. Queen Victoria had a personal secretary from India named Hafiz Muhammad Abdul Karim.
Abdul's risen on his own merits. Now he is my friend.
And then Queen Victoria died on January 22, 1901.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For the first, let me introduce myself. I'm Defi Elistia. Here, I will explain about politik in Victorian era. Okay, the former political system is a constitutional monarchy. It was in practice dominated by aristocratic men. The British Constitution is unwritten and consists of a combination of written law and unwritten convention. The right to vote gave social power to the middle class, the working class, and the farmers. This also gave them the power to influence the politics and parliament. It was felt that women should not be a part of politics of business, and so their right to vote was crushed until the age of 1980 was passed, which gave them right to vote. The women felt that to participate in politics and business, education is necessary. And Queen Victoria never supported the concept of education to women. She felt that if they were to be on the same footing as men, it would be against the rule and principle of morality. Despite all this, a few schools and colleges for girls were started, like North London College School for Girls, Queen College in London, Cambridge College, Girton, and Newham. The Whigs support this change, and at the start of the term, members of Parliament are elected by the half-million property owner, or in a population of 21 million, who have a vote. In 1829, a vote was given to Catholic men, and in 1832 to mostly middle-class men. In 1867 and 1884, French rights were extended to working-class men, and most women over the age of 30 were granted the right to vote in 1980. Okay, I think that's all of me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I will continue the explanation of the political conflict between Ireland and Britain, and the rise of Irish nationalism were also hallmarks of the era, as was the activism for women's rights, which resulted in the Married Women's Property Act, the repeal of the Infectious Disease Act, and the growth of education and job choice for women. Ireland and Britain share a troubled past, since England first invaded the country more than 8 centuries ago. Ireland has suffered from war, religious conflict, and political division, and the encounter between the English and the Irish has also left a profound legacy in Irish culture and even in the landscape itself. From the great famines of the 1840 through the First World War, the Irish question dominated not just Irish politics, but British politics as well. Explore how the Irish were torn between three possible: complete union with Great Britain, autonomy under the British Crown, and total independence, accepted by force of arms. The clash among these alternatives culminated in the Easter Rising of 1916, the War of Independence, and the partition of Ireland into two states, the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dea Rahmawati. I am from Emory class. So today I will tell you guys about social life in Victorian era. In Victorian era, there are three types of class. The first is upper class. Those came from the royal family, and the middle class is from the important officer and lord, and the lower class is from wealthy men and the business owner. The next is differentiation for all. By 19, there was many differentiation and entertainment for rich and poor alike. Theater, music hall, library, museum, and art galleries were built in every major town and many minor ones, often found by new brand of philanthropies. Seaside towns were no longer the preserve of the rich, and the place like Rich, Yarmouth, and Blackpool developed as popular resort for the working classes. There were many new sports such as lawn tennis and corrigan, and old sport with new definite rules such as rugby, football, and cricket. Games were an essential ingredients of the education provided by the public school that multiplies during the period, designed to make gentlemen out of boys from the middle class. That's it for me. The next material will be told by Nia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Maulida Anggreini. Now I will explain about education and childhood. Education come to be regarded as a universal need and eventually a universal right. It was made compulsory up to the age of 10 in 1880 to achieve education for all. Many new states or board schools were established, together with cross school. By 1900, there was near universal literacy, a colossal achievement considering how appalling the situation of poor children has been in the 18th and 30s. The Victorian age was the first in which childhood was recognized as a distinct and precious place in life. Family life embodied by the young queen, her beloved Albert, and their 9 children was idealized. As in so much else, the Victorian proved to be richly imaginative when it came to entertaining children. The moral tales of the start of the period were supplemented by animal stories such as Black Beauty, stirring adventures like Treasure's Island, and the eccentric brilliance of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, all of which would inspire children literature in the 20th century. Thank you.